Welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Taurian B.
I'm First Class Regg.
And this week we are going to talk about legends. Obviously, we just lost X, DMX. We just lost Shock G. We just lost Black Rob. And we want to talk about, are we giving our legends their flowers too late? We saw a couple different things, on the internet with people saying that, right? But before I get into that, I want to introduce our guest. I'm really excited about our guest today. We have OG Liv in the building. We got it in Harlem. Woo!
Very rare.
Young LA. Sean in the building.
Happy to be here.
And all right, let's get along with. Oh, I'm sorry. Robbie Digital is here.
Thanks, Torian.
How you feeling today?
Great. I'll exist. I'll win.
Yeah, you exist. All right. Cool. So to keep it on a positive note, we want to talk about our, are we giving legends their flowers, right? Because I saw a game tweet, don't give me my flowers when I'm dead, give them to me while I'm alive. And
flowers for him?
And it was because of X, right? So I'm gonna start it off by saying this. When I saw some people saying, "Oh, you giving X's flowers," now I was really confused because I always felt that DMX was one of the artists who always was celebrated and always got his flowers, right?
I think he was too.
I don't think that it was any thing about that. But then I saw Swiss Beats, who is, they don't get no closer to DMX than that. At his homegoing service on Saturday, we saw him speaking out, and I don't know if he was speaking. Well, we all kind of realized he was talking to somebody specifically,
for sure.
But
a group.
A group of people. But he was just saying all of y'all here. I hope y'all supporting me the same way. And again, I think when some people pass, it's upsetting. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that X was somebody that wasn't celebrated. But the way I want to present it is, do you guys think it's a catch-22? Because some people are celebrated. It just so happens that when people die, it's something that we do, right?
Yeah.
And when somebody passes, of course you're going to say great things about them or whatever.
Our focus is all on that.
Yeah, it's on that thing.
So it seems brighter.
Yeah, but do you think that sometimes maybe we do need to show that? Especially to someone that we really enjoy. I'll give you a prime example, right? I think Vin Diesel's amazing. So, I make sure I talk about the Fast and Furious movies, and I make sure that, I tell everybody he's great and people tell me he sucks. But I feel like if we lose Vin, everybody's going to, the franchise is going to, break records, and everybody's going to talk about how much they love the Fast and Furious movies.
I mean, the franchise made it this long.
Yeah.
9 movies.
Come on. Exactly, man.
It lost a whole memory.
I think naturally,
yes.
I think naturally when we do lose someone, no matter how that person's impact was to the culture, we kind of always regress to the positive. So we kind of push out the positive out there, kind of just to, show our love, show our respect. I think we have platforms though, like Drink Champs, that does a really good job at giving people their flowers. That's in their tagline. We just want to give you the flowers. We just want you to feel the love as a legend.
And X was their first
guest.
Yeah, he was their first guest.
He was their first guest. So I know Swizz was probably talking, like we said, to specific people. Because I think he's probably seeing it from a different standpoint where a lot of people are surfacing that he probably hasn't spoken to in years.
Yeah.
Or that he knows hasn't been around DMX in years.
Yeah.
So he's seeing a lot of true colors right now, and I like that he was vocal about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, when it comes to death, you're going to see what do you either
going to see the
good or the bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody's mourning at the same time, so two things are happening. When somebody's living, so for example, Kobe, nobody was ever going to think Kobe was going to pass.
Yeah, that soon.
Soon, you know what I'm saying? And when he died, it's everybody's a Kobe fan. Yo, bro, we don't got time to.
Yeah, I hate that.
You know what I'm saying?
Much.
All of a sudden, or even if that is a new opportunity for somebody to learn about research. Them, that's a flower.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. I didn't take the time to appreciate him. Let me finally watch it with a non-biased view. Mm-hmm. And that's how you could do it. The same thing with the music. Was I listening to DMX every day while he was living? No. But when he passed, it was let me reflect on the album.
Because that's what you have.
Yeah.
His family members have photos and intimate moments, intimate memories. Like we have his music,
Right.
so we just go listen to that, and
Right.
that's how the streams and everything been running up.
Right.
But I think fans have intimate moments too. I think DMX is one of the examples in few times like he had such a relationship with his fan base that in his passing, people not only gave him his flowers prior, but they had moments with him. I've never seen so many random moments that people had, like from him showing up at a wedding, Tony Hawk saying he was at the X Games with him, like I guess
Him
the
working
game rapping with him. Like it's just
him working in the kitchen.
Yeah, like
it's
random
so-
acts of kindness that you had.
It's so
He's
I
kind of
think-
like a Bill Murray.
yeah. I
in,
think,
in that
I think
kind of
your
way,
legacy-
right? Doing those things.
Your legacy is defined in living and in death, and I think he's done a tremendous job of that. I think, unfortunately, in human nature, we don't think about people, the mortality of human life. We don't think about it.
Yeah.
And the reason why we don't think about it is because we choose to live. So to say we don't give someone their flowers, I think we do. And you make sure that you show that. But in death, it is that time to reflect. I think even in the example of Black Rob, like, yeah, people didn't see Black Rob on a day-to-day, but we know that when we hear Let's Get It, when we hear Special Delivery, it gives us a special, we remember that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We remember these moments for those reasons. So like, even though the flowers are not there, it lives with us. So
You saying Black Rob, right? It made me think like, so with Black Rob, I don't think anybody was thinking about checking for Black Rob for a long time. And I'm from Harlem, so for me, like Black Rob is somebody that's always like mentioned, you know, when I have certain conversations or whatever like that, just because of like, you know, what he did as far as repping where I'm from. But I just think that when some people talk about like not giving their legends their flowers, like, I think that Black Rob would be somebody that would like fall like in that realm. And even Shock G.
Yeah.
But, like, think about how instrumental like Shock G is like in a huge part of like what's going on in hip hop, right? If it wasn't for him putting his friend Tupac Shakur on,
Who's that?
you know,
putting
the
on
actor,
his friend
the rapper,
his friend Tupac Shakur on, right?
That guy.
Because like he took Tupac on tour. Like Tupac started out as a roadie, then he became a backup dancer, then he became a rapper,
Then he became a gangster.
then he.
Then he became an actor.
Oh my
Then he
god!
acted like a gangster.
He would have been
Guys,
fire
please.
actor.
It's crazy that this is about flowers.
Please let me continue. What I'm just saying is Tupac Shakur is a very instrumental part of hip hop culture, right?
Yes.
So what I'm just saying is that obviously Shock G didn't make Tupac Shakur, but we might have not have gotten this man if Shock G didn't say, "Of course you can come with me" or whatever like that, right? Shoot, even like, you know, somebody like Craig Mack, right? Like, because Craig Mack got the situation first, he was the first artist on Bad Boy to come out, right? I know Biggie, Puff was already with Biggie, but Biggie being on a song with him, that was already a big deal, you know, and like he died like alone, like, you know what I'm saying, and not loved it. And I just think that for certain artists, like there's this thing that happens, like how, like I guess my thing is like, hopefully with streaming, like there's a way that streaming platforms like this, all right, put it like this: there's an OD station for R&B music, for country music, for rock and roll music, right? Like all these other genres, and I just think that in hip hop there needs to be a little bit more structure.
We got the
in how
throwback
things-
90s, no?
We just
if you have Sirius Radio, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm just saying is, I guess like it has to be some kind of way to salvage that, because I understand hip hop is technically rap music is a young person's kind of game, sport. But I guess like when people talk about, oh, we need a union and things like that, it's hard. I think in essence is really hard to do that
probably
because
the flower part.
That would be the flower. But I think that's really hard because I'm gonna tell you why. Because then politics and things like that are going to get involved. Because I'm gonna tell you why. The Teamsters, they were ran by the mafia at one point, and there were things that were used to influence what was done around the country. Teamsters are they take trucks back and forth across America, right? So with music, that means like they'll be like, all right, if you're not, I'll give you an example. Let's say like in the union, then that means like artists are getting a certain amount of money from radio spins. Like it guarantees it. Like it's standard. It's not like all this shit that be happening where artists getting fucked, right? Because union is to protect the rappers.
A good union,
right? A good union.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. What I'm saying is that there probably would be things that would happen that probably they wouldn't be okay with, like illegal shit. And then that comes into play, and then everybody's like, you see, you shouldn't even have a union in the first place. Like, there's always going to be some bullshit, right?
For sure.
So I guess that's what my thing is like, damn, it sounds like a good idea because, like, all right, they'll get retirement, they'll get medical, they'll get medical, dental, all that shit. They'll be able to start a 401k. They'll be able to start retirement plans and things like that, right? And we're just talking about hip hop. I think the music industry, period, should have this because musicians, period, across all genres are experiencing these things, right?
But I think in hip hop is really important though because hip hop is it'll be 50 in 2022. So like we're almost there, and it's a still very young genre. So like we grew up in it, and you know we kind of have to see those changes happen. And as they're being implemented, it just looks a little sloppy because we're living literally in the moment of it. Like everything else is already established before, you know, we were listening.
Yeah, I think that stuff like with A&Rs and stuff like that, because I have friends that are A&Rs in the industry, I think it's their duty and the managers as well to be setting up their artists for success. And I think that's where it should be regulated more versus like having an entire union because there's so many complications and there's so many artists coming up day by day through SoundCloud, through fucking Spotify.
Right.
Like there's so many things that complicate a union in terms into the music industry that it's really the responsibility of the A&R and the managers and the teams behind these artists that really should be setting up their artists for success in the future, in the present, and even like beyond for the legacy.
To have that though, that means we have to have real artist development. We don't have artist development anymore because of the internet and how it allowed superstars to come out of nowhere from
the internet develops the artists.
So like in the 90s, we loved the 90s so much because everything was supercars, supermodels, superstars. Everything was curated to us to an experience that by the time we got it, it was polished, it was presented, there was no room for margin, no room for error. When you look at the internet musicians that we've gotten, although great, incredible, life-changing, and has pushed the culture 10 times forward, there's also drawbacks from not being media trained, not being able to keep things covered, not being able to keep their demons fully hidden, gang issues, all these other things, street life really coming to a forefront, where in the 90s, there was street shit, but the business, you knew about it, but you didn't see it up front. Second part to flowers and what flowers look like. I think it is our responsibility as media personalities, such as Late Breakfast, What's a Good Guy, PSA, all of these networks that we've created as children in hip hop. It is our responsibility and our duty to make sure that we keep these legacies preserved and curate them and nurture them. And I think that that's where the problem is at the moment, that we're not controlling the narrative for our legends. We're letting other people who do not look like us, who are not in our culture, dictate these and when we're throwing them away. Constantly, as I look at these three people that passed away, the first person that plays in my mind is Combat. Because the last interview I heard from Black Rob was with Combat. So like now I'm watching Nori in a sense, which he still has some bumpy roads, and I have my issues with Nori just with a numerous amount of things at the moment. But he is realizing like, yo, if I don't tell these stories and I don't get these artists to tell their stories will never be told.
But they are competing against New York Times and New York Post.
They are.
Because as soon as DMX passes, they're talking about the houses that he lost.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So controlling
but
the
that's
narrative.
For clicks, but that's up to us too. Because I see it on Twitter all the time. And my bad, I know you wanted to go next. But I see it on Twitter all the time too, where we kind of help amplify these ignorant posts.
Oh, for sure.
Where it's like, yo, like if you see an ignorant post, you have to just scroll, bro.
Yeah.
Don't amplify it. Don't put it onto your timeline.
Yep.
And then it's like a whole nother thing because you just want to like,
Facts.
you know, you just want to be mad, but also have an audience for being mad. And it's like,
step over it.
just scroll, just
Yup.
pass it. Don't feed it.
But we
Yeah.
also can't look, like I said, we can't look for media outlets to tell our story. I'm not looking for daily news to feel about DMX the way I feel about DMX. And unfortunately, don't get me wrong, I know there's black people who work in these spaces who diligently do the due diligence to change these, but they don't have the opportunities to do that. I know plenty of people who worked at Vlad and hated it, but they loved hip hop, and that was their entry in. And now they're controlling their own narratives and they're creating their own stories the way they want to. Everybody starts from somewhere, but I think we have to take more control of it to get it to really be better. What we
Okay,
want.
so what I was going to say was one of the first things you said was like media training, and one thing that like what I've learned that like sucked about what was the downside of media training. Like obviously it's important, right? But that's why a lot of artists got robbed, and that's something that they have to like also look into because media training they got charged for that. And they didn't know it. They thought like, oh, like this is what you're supposed to do with it. This is a class. It's kind of like going to
Going into the NFL.
yeah, when you're getting put in classes, and it's kind of like charm school.
Yeah.
Where you're taught how to speak, you're taught how to dress, you're taught how to walk, you're taught how to talk, eat anything, right? Like right. But then next thing you know, like it's like I forgot the word that it's called, and you look at your when you see like your breakdown, like,
It's like
all right,
Uber Eats, bro.
Yeah.
You put in food.
You look on here, you're just like, wait, service charge? I didn't get served anything. Like, so it's just one of those things where it's like I just think that with that comes a little
Pushback.
a lot of pushback, right? And that's what I think like where a lot of artists are apprehensive, and where I say like I think obviously unionizing will be great, and like Nori talks about it a lot
I want to
early
break
on.
this down to you though.
Okay,
With the
hold on
union.
one second.
I got you.
So Nori talks about it a lot, and I remember when he had Havoc on the show, Havoc was like, how the fuck is that going to work? Like, everybody's not going to agree. It's always going to be going back and forth. And, like, no one's going to trust the person in charge or whatever like that, right? Like, so my thing is just that all that we can do now is try to, like, what I started doing is I try to, like, stream an artist from my childhood that I liked.
Yeah.
And like just
And
get like that's the best I can do right now. I can't put money in these people's pockets. But what I'm just saying is like just find an artist like, oh man, I remember I liked this art. Like there was an artist when I was growing up called A+. Like some people don't even never even heard of A+ or whatever like that, right? But like he was like a popular teenage rapper. So I streamed him the other day, and I had my boy Tyson up because like he's the one who put me on to him. I'm like, yo, look what I'm listening. So he's like, yo, nobody shows him love. And he's like, I'm about to stream him now. So I just think like little things like that, like those gestures go a long way. I don't know where A+ is. I look for him on social media, could have found him. But
you at Rakim every time you listen to Paid in Full?
Do I at Rakim every time he was in Paid? What do you mean?
When you listen to Paid in Full, do you at him on like? Do you take a picture, put on Insta story like, yo? Listen, just so you know that people are listening.
He'll share it.
I do. We don't even know if that's real. I know Eric B really runs his account. I don't know if that's really Rakim running Rakim's OG Rakim account. I'll be mad confused. But I mean, I don't. No, it's not. But he DMs us, and I'll be like, yo, I don't know if this is really the God I'm
seeing. I'll post a picture, I'll tag him, he'd be like, peace, dog.
I'll be afraid. I'll be like, damn, like, what if this is really the God? Like,
I'll be like, oh my God.
But I'm just saying, they make me my train of thought. I'm just saying, I think those things go a long way, and I think that is more than enough if we are fans.
So to the union point, right? Let's break it down because I was in construction, so I've been in the union.
Let's construction, huh?
Break it down.
Facts. So let's say a construction site is the overall site, and hip hop is the construction site. Right? Boom, fine, whatever you want to call it. In a construction site, you got electricians, you got plumbers, you got plumbers. You got you got plumbers, electricians, you got steel fielders, you got the regular people, but everybody has their own union. I was in local 3. That's the electrical union. We got local 12, 17, 67, boom, right? Mm-hmm. That's everybody on that construction site within their own union.
Okay.
But based off of whatever you want to be, you will find the right union within the construction world. So maybe every label should have like maybe their own union in the sense that offers their own things, packages
That sounds
that might
more
make
concrete.
an artist say, well,
Independent artists.
yeah, but then you would have to outsource your own insurance.
Yeah, they doing that.
They still can outsource your own insurance. So Local 3, I know I can only speak on, I know for a fact they offered full medical, dental, you cover your kids, your family, whatever, and therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Let's say Local 67 didn't have the therapy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I might not want to pursue whatever that union
Occupation is.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say Atlantic had their own union.
10% masters after 10 years.
Whatever.
50-50 ventures on merchandise.
Whatever.
That works. Like I see what you're saying.
So
like,
that way
it would be
wouldn't-
Universal, Atlantic, like it's
Right.
just the different major labels.
Exactly.
And
So it wouldn't be
open
so
market too.
it wouldn't be so confusing on who the hell is in charge
Or where the
of this whole
I guess for me, my thing. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I guess the way I think about it, right? I'm in the Screen Actors Guild.
Mhm.
So the Screen Actors Guild is over the entire entertainment industry, music, acting and film industry and
Mhm.
television. Like so, they merged. It used to be SAG after was television and radio,
Mhm.
and then SAG was the movies and certain television shows. It used to go back and forth, right? But they merged, so everything's together, right?
Mhm.
So that's why like certain DJs are a part of AFTRA, which makes them a part of SAG
Mhm.
because they work on the radio or sometimes they work on daytime television, like the guy that used to work for not Angie Martinez,
Like Wendy
Wendy Williams, right?
Mhm.
So what I was saying is that if there's too many unions at the labels, obviously like that's good for competition, right? Like that gives the labels leverage, but then that will also cause issue because labels will probably be able to ratchet up things that they want, but then like it will be able to cause leverage. There needs to just be one union because
That's impossible.
you mean it's impossible? There's one the Screen Actors Guild. Like I get what you're saying, like in construction,
Mhm.
but we're not gonna say construction's not very corrupt.
There are parallels.
Yeah, but at the same
Points are being
like,
made.
I mean, with
Like-
any union, there's gonna be corruption.
No, any union is going to be corruption. But what I'm just saying is that I think if they did a universal contract for all recording artists, I'm just saying that opposed to different labels, it would make a huge difference because if it was different ones, I think that would be too much gray area.
But I shouldn't
And
have the
both
same
things-
contract as Rob. If Rob
So,
can't sell the
That's
same amount of
what I was
units.
about to say.
Well, no, I wasn't saying that they deserve the same contracts. I was saying that just benefits overall. Like, shoot, maybe you can start the same job, we might not get the same salary, but like we both get, we have 401k options. We have the option for health care. We have the options for sick days, like things like that.
I
like,
think, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, artists need that.
I think it'll be a lot of work, but I think that it should be structured to tailor specifically to those people.
Do you see this happening?
I don't know.
Nope.
Don't see it happen.
I feel bad because someone who brought it up was Royce the 5'9". Royce said it like I didn't realize it in that moment, but I was talking to Regg about it. As much as I love hip hop and I love the musicians that I listen to and I love their artistry and their work and their projects, there's moments of pain in that. There's moments of PTSD. There's moments of anxiety. There's moments of remorse and regret and all of these things, and we internalize this music and enjoy it for entertainment value and not realizing how much of that lives in that. And now why certain artists, like I think Joe Budden was saying, like, yeah, after I would put out an album in May and now go on tour in like August or whatever the fuck it may be, I may not be in the same space with that music that I was when I first put it out. I don't think Hov was running to do You Must Love Me on a set. Like,
Imagine DMX. There was
So,
so
like,
much pain in DMX.
yeah, like,
That's true.
so I
Imagine
think
him performing Danger.
you have to have that. You have to have at
Or
some
slipping.
point. We have to look at artists like, okay, you're putting this much energy, and when you take something and you put energy into it, you can feel that energy that comes out of it. So what are we doing after you put out the album? You need to go to therapy. We need to figure out what's going on with you. What is the mental capacity are you ready for to go to the next project? What does it look like? Where are you at? Are you ready to record? Do we need to take some time off? Do we have that invested? I think
Good
those are
luck.
things that we're not doing, and it's hurting them.
So Ladies and gentlemen, that was a good talk. We are going to wrap it up. I am Taurian B.
I'm First Class Reg. Julius.
And we are going to catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep it in. What the way?
Rob, don't stop, yo. Like, this nigga won't stop.
I am so sorry. I'm
Like,
sorry.
you do it, and it's just like, you be like, because the other
I
day,
am
and I was
so
like, yo,
sorry.
bro.
Listen.
Every time. You don't ever stop.
Oh, shut up. And I'm
It's the
trying
emotions
to
that,
I'm like,
that provoked in the words that
No,
you said, and
please don't
it
do that
resonated
again.
with me in such
Please
a
don't do that
compassion.
again.
Like, yo, bro, stop that shit.
Yo, son.